VR as an overall thing is going to be something. Like, I do think that there's a good idea. There's a kernel of a really smart, like, this is the way to change what games are and how we perceive them. But I don't think that bulky headset is it yet. And even if it is, like, I think the problem, they're kind of in this weird catch-22 where I think, like, people like me are like, oh, we need a big premium experience on VR. I want a 40-hour game. Like, I'm not going to play a 40-hour game in VR. I think, like, maybe they should shift to the other direction. Like, they announced the Neko Atsume cat sim VR thing.
And then they announced the Sony Singing Pals.
The music thing. Yeah. So it's like, maybe you go smaller.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. It's again, like, do I want to spend $300, $400 buying one of these things so I can play a bunch of bite-sized experiences?
I mean, if it's the right properties and the right studios working on it, maybe. I'm promised that once every other month I'm getting something from a AAA, either first-party Sony developer or a partner developer. If every month I'm getting, it's like, there is a Last Guardian experience, or there's an Uncharted experience, or a God of War experience, or if, like, you know, Capcom and Activision, you know, which they did at launch, they were like, hey, here's the Batman VR game, and then here is Resident Evil 7 in VR, and here is Star Wars Battlefront.
I think that's what they need. Like, the Tomb Raider one, like, is the only VR thing that's actually made me sick, so maybe it's a bad example. But I think if they had, for every major game, if, like, in the way that Microsoft with Xbox Live, part of the reason that achievements took off is because they were required.
Yes.
You had to have them. They had to follow a style guide. Like, I think ultimately, like, maybe it's time for Sony, at least in first party, to just promise a VR experience with, like, imagine Shadow of the Colossus having a crazy VR thing in it where you could look up at, like, it doesn't have to be crazy. Like,
could you imagine the sense of scale of like looking up at literally any of the Colossus? Like, the first one.
Just do the first one. Exactly. Like, it doesn't have to be any more robust than, like, letting me walk around a small space and look up at it. But I think Uncharted is the same way. Like, let me just walk around Drake's house. Like, it doesn't need to be any more robust than, like, it's a cool bonus feature. But I think that's the way you slowly trickle people in.
Yeah.
And I think, honestly, like, part of it is that they're just not giving it, like, there are tiny experiences coming out, and, like, every single week there's something on PSVR, but they need it to be more reliable and more exciting, I think.
Yeah, like, when we talk about how awesome the Sony exclusives have been this year already, which it was a little bit front-loaded, to be perfectly honest, but, like, imagine if Gravity Rush and Horizon and Persona all had... And Lost Legacy all had something in VR. Like, in Persona, you could, like, wander around the cafe or go to Crossroads or go to the school. In Horizon, if you could just view models of all the dinos in VR and just sort of, like, it just looks like it's in a museum, like, that would be so cool. And if that was accompanied with all these games, I feel like, especially all these games I'm already buying, like, if that was free with them, I would totally buy a PSVR, and then that gets them in people's houses, and then you can start selling them solo things.
And I think that's it's like that weird, like, Trojan horse idea of, like, I want to do this small thing. I mean, like, I understand why something like Persona or any, like, small team, it's going to be hard to, this game that's been delayed like 100 times to get, like, a thing like that in it. But first party has the resources, and, like, if Sony, I think the weird spot Sony's in right now, and why I'm kind of glad they had a shakeup in senior management, is because it feels like they don't think enough about ecosystem things right now. I think, like, they have this incredible momentum, and PS4, like, they can just stop and let third-party stuff come, and it would do great. But, like, I hope that at some level they're looking at all of their first-party initiatives as, like, an in-tandem thing. Like, I think that's part of what happened at the Vita. They made a couple novelty, high-profile games, and they kind of let it die.
Yeah. Thank you all so much for watching. That was just a small snippet of Beyond 513. For the entire show, head over to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/IGNBeyond. Give it a subscribe, and then check out some of our other stuff, like our Let's Plays and our Rapid Fire breakouts. Till next time, bye.